Hello and welcome to Cutter Farms. We're back with another episode of UMRV Upper Mississippi River Valley, and everything is getting full here. It needs some attention. We're gonna get the grain cart unloaded first up here and make sure we can keep this combine going. We've made a lot of progress on this field since we started things off, but we got a little bit behind with getting the trucks out here to the field. So I've just run the semi out here to get everything unloaded for us. And I think we've got more than enough in this grain cart to get this semi headed back up to the farm. We're kind of running some of the stuff manually here for the rest of this harvest. I feel like monkeying around with auto drive and course play for a change. We're just going to be driving some trucks back and forth up to the farm here on our own today, I think. And really, there's not that much left to do on this field. I think we'll get it in another truck or so. We'll be able to knock this field out. We're almost half done, I suppose, with the way that the angled rows are going to work over there on the far side. So let me kick this thing up a few gears, and we're going to go ahead and just keep going here. I almost expected the combine to kind of start moving towards the end row here, but we must be just close enough to things that it doesn't feel like it has the need. By the time we top off that grain cart in another few rounds doing the soybeans there, we'll have enough beans to make a second run up to the bin site here, I think. So we gotta keep this thing moving today. And I've got to get back into that wheel loader and move a little bit more of that chaff into a silage bag. I still have not wrapped that job up just yet. We were working on it towards the end of last episode, and we got distracted running around and doing everything else. I switched the semi out here so that we can maneuver a little bit better in the yard. This one's got a shorter wheelbase and seemed to fit nice with this semi trailer, so I did rotate some equipment a little bit here and there. And once again, I have driven right by the fuel barrel. I should really fuel this thing up at some point. We're getting down under half a tank of diesel. That's all right. We'll last for a little while longer here, hopefully. The field is nice and close to the farmyard, so I'm not overly worried about it. And let me see here. I think I need to switch to the front hopper. We'll get this all emptied out. And there we go. We're good to get back out here to the field. I have to imagine that the combine has finished unloading and is already diving into its next lands area, but we'll find out momentarily. Man, I miss the ATS, like it moves the camera to look out the window when you look out the side, but it does look like the combine has indeed moved on here, so we're gonna park this thing pretty much right in that same spot. It's a nice, easy spot to load, and it's right next to the driveway instance, so we didn't have any problems getting back out. Sometimes this semi and trailer combination have a tendency to get hung up on the hills a little bit, not a lot. And so I'm always looking for a nice flat spot to kind of park things, but I do like to keep it off of the edge of the field here just a smidge to make sure we're not getting in the way of our semi or anything. And we did leave this thing running, looks like just shy of 400 bushels in here, not too shabby. We'll go ahead and just dump this into the front hopper of that semi trailer since we're here. And maybe we'll follow the combine back down on its next pass just to make sure we've got that all emptied out and good to go for a while before we hop back over to the farm and work on figuring out what we're doing with the rest of that chaff still. We do still have the slurry spreader going here on the other field across from us. I can't quite see it anywhere. It must be back behind the trees somewhere there. We should probably go check on that. I always forget to tab through all my equipment and make sure I've set up the appropriate course play, auto drive courses, all that good stuff for the big jobs that we're doing. I'll leave this guy here, should be out of the way. And we are indeed going to town, but I forgot to enable the auto drive course play interaction. I believe I have to check that button if I want him to go and start refilling automatically, so we're gonna do that. And yeah, this looks like the last of our second pass out of, is it 6 that I've done? So we're a third of the way done with this field already. Oh, very nice. So, like I said, before we go back to working on the chaff, let's go ahead and follow this combine down the length of the field here, see if we can get that hopper unloaded, make sure we can keep this combine going for as long as possible. We were doing a lot of moving the trucks and stuff around while this thing was still going, and it looks like it's already got a, not a full hopper, but it's got to be over half full already. I'm excited to see what our total yield on soybeans is going to be across our fields. This is quite a large field and should be actually yielding quite a bit better than the other field we had over there, because of this field we actually fertilized and did all the right things to tillage, etc., where the other field across the way was one that we had just purchased, and those always do a little bit worse the first year. Oh, we're crowding the head just a little too much here. There we go. We are indeed done emptying the hopper there, so I'm going to go ahead and stop here. I'm just going to leave this thing out in the middle. We're going to need to unload this combine at least one more time, and with the way the rows and everything work out, it'll be easier to catch up with it from over here. And just out of curiosity, we're 82% of the way full with this silage bag, so we've got a little ways left to go. I'm still a little bit weirded out by the fact that we've got such a large bucket by volume. Just look at the size of this bucket, and we don't end up filling this thing up faster. It's one of the few things with Farm Sim that just kind of boggles my mind that the visual volumes don't match up very well, but it is what it is. So we're going to just stop complaining about it. I know I probably mentioned it last episode as well, and we're going to just go ahead and get the rest of this chaff moving out. I've got a lot of chaff on the ground that at some point I'm hoping to be able to figure out how to pick up. I'm kind of concerned that so much of it is still sitting right there on the ground. And I have moved around some of the buttons on my Stream Deck now, so I can actually reverse and go forward with the Stream Deck rather than having to reach my other hand across to do it. So we're slowly making more and more improvements to our button controls and stuff. Oh, did it get full? Is that why everything's suddenly going on the ground? I feel like it shouldn't be full already. It is not full already. What is going on? Let's back up a little. Nope, that's not working either. Oh, this tractor's not on. Does that play a effect on this? It does. Oh, okay. Good to know, good to know. Well, let's try that again. There we go, that's working so much better. And what we'll do is just scoop up a little bit of this off of the ground, because we made a pretty big mess, and I don't want to be searching for this auger every time we pull in. I know I said I wasn't going to do a lot of cleanup in between loads here, but I think this one is justified because I made such a blunder. Alright, let's see if we can go back to doing a full round in cab here without crashing into anything or messing anything up too much. It's been a minute since I've tried one of these completely in cab. There we go. I have to say I do like using these wheel loaders. It's worked out really well. It's a nice change of pace from always being in the tractor, and the visibility is so much better driving this around, at least from a farm sim perspective. For once, I feel like I can actually see where I'm going for the most part, and not feel like I'm constantly at a loss for what's going on and where I'm at. The only part I have a real struggle with is the depth perception on moments like this. And so we're gonna try it out. We're gonna see if I make a mess or not. There we go. I can hear the tractor going, so I am indeed dumping it into the hopper. Good deal. We've got some small messes we'll have to clean up at the end, but it's not too bad. Not too bad at all. And these things are nice and speedy, so it's very convenient to zip in and out of this building. It just fits in here real nice like. And I'm finally starting to see this pile go down here across the board. We're almost there, I feel like. It's probably gonna take a second silage bag though to finish this all off. It looks like the manure spreader's still going over there. For half a moment I thought it was stuck on something, but not so much. It's good to go. And this, just like last time, I'm gonna pull forward until I can just see the blue of the auger and then start dumping this. I think that's gonna go right into the machine. Good deal. I didn't hear it rev up this time like I have in times past though. So I think I'm gonna jump out here and see what's going on. Oh, we are completely full up on silage. Look at that. So I think what I need to do is hit disconnect on the rear bag here. There we go. And now I can bring this forward. And if I want, I can bring another bag out here and hook that up to this machine and then line up that second bag right next to this one, which I think is what I'm gonna do. But before I do that, we might wanna clean up a little bit of this chaff first. And I think I saw that my other worker on the combine has just gotten full. So as soon as we clean up this little bit that we've got here on the ground, I think I'm gonna go and make sure our combine's still moving. But I wanna be careful here because I don't wanna pick up the silage. I just want the chaff. So let's make sure we stay out of that front zone where the silage is there. There we go. And just a little bit more over here. Perfect. That's actually quite a bit of leftover silage there that we've managed to pick up. So I'm just gonna put this thing nice and out of the way here. And there's only the smallest short row over there, so I don't really want to monkey around with trying to chase him around. I want to make sure that we've got the hopper nice and empty and he can go finish all these little short rows all over this field. We're probably gonna have to hop in and clean up a couple of missed spots at some point with the combine ourselves once it's all done, is my guess, but that's all right. We'll go ahead and just let him do his best and clean that up at the very end. It looks like we've only got a few minutes left during, or excuse me, we've only got a few minutes left of this harvest altogether though. So I don't think we're gonna end up getting all of that chaff out of the barn before we're done with our soybean harvest, to be honest. However, we're all empty there. I'm gonna take this guy and run over and just unload into the semi here. See how we're doing. We won't quite have enough to top it off, I don't think, so I've only got about 380 bushels in there right now, but it's gonna be pretty close. I'll probably just hold out to the end here and see how many more beans we get off of this field. I don't think we'll get them all into the truck, but we should definitely be able to get them into the truck and the grain cart here and take everything back up to the yard and finish it off. Looks like we've got the slurry spreader coming down the road here. So that means that we're continuing to run. We've got the auto drive automation stuff hooked up correctly again, which is always a plus. There he goes, or she goes, I guess I should say. I'm loving this setup. It works out great, but I do think we might have knocked over a sign there. It's okay. I do it too. All right, I've got the ag bag here. We're gonna bring this back with us to the field, see if we can get this all hooked up. I think this side, the left-hand side of this, is the part that needs to go to the back of the ag bagger. And man, did that come out just perfect there to not block our gate. I'm digging it. The ground's not exactly level as I thought it was, but it should work out pretty good for us. And I think if I just set this thing right here, I should be able to hop into this and back up a little bit. Oh, it looks like it's hooking up to it right away. I was hoping I could move that into the right spot before it did that though. Let me see if I can at least hook up to it and potentially move this a little bit into position because it's going to be kind of problematic where it is. Not so much. Well, there's a good word of warning for y'all is to be very thoughtful about where you set that bag down. If I'd known that it was going to start filling up before I even got it attached, I might have set it in place where I wanted it and then let things go, but that's all right. I think I can, if I can get close enough to it. I can't grab it from this side. I'm trying to just put this thing into a slightly better position for ourselves. Man, that bag is like super heavy and I can't seem to actually grab onto the bag again like I had before. I really wish I could do it from this side so that I could see how far we are. Oh, I think I can grab that pallet down here. There we go. That seems to be working a little better. All right, it's more or less into position. Let's see if I can straighten it out a little bit though. While it would normally bother me that they're not lined up with each other quite exactly, all I'm trying to do is get it over a little bit, and then when I pull forward, I should be able to straighten this out. No, not so much. Gosh, it's always something. All right, there we go. I don't normally like using a lot of like super strength and whatnot to do things, although I do it a lot. But for stuff like this where it's kind of limiting with the way the game mechanics and stuff work, I kind of get over it and just do what we need to do to get it done and move on. And that's what we did. I think that's going to work out really well for us. Let's see what happens when we start tossing some more loads in there though. And here we are. Let's see how this is going to work out for us. Oh, perfect. It's going right in there. It's a little bit more jittery than the other one was, but that'll probably settle down, I think, once we get a couple loads in there. And it's just so exciting to see other farm equipment from our farm out working in fields. Some days I really hate auto drive and course play and how painful it seems to be to hook things up. And then other days, it just makes things really come to life on a farm when you've got all this other equipment moving around and you're not the sole person on the farm that's doing anything productive. I'm really a big fan of that. It makes the map and the game really kind of come alive. I got stuck in the wall. Be warned, you'll never get out. What am I gonna do? It's always something. Maybe I can wedge myself off the sidewall. I can't tell if I'm making progress. I'm just hoping I can hit the ground hard enough to bounce it back out of the wall. Oh, we did it, we did it. Oh, we're dumping silage everywhere. Okay, let's be a little bit more careful this time. Maybe not ram into the back wall quite so fast. But I am going to try, once again, to pick up the rest of this silage. There we go. I was at 100% though, so I don't know where the rest of the silage went. Somewhere in the wall, it looks like. So let's go ahead and see if I can get some from over here. And yeah, we're going to stay way away from that wall when we come back for the last scoop. I'm still very concerned with all the chaff on the floor there. I'm not too happy we've got so much material just laying around that we can't pick up. I'm sure that's gonna cause a lag and other problems for us at some point, but it is what it is at this stage. I'm just happy we are getting everything into the silage bags here. I want to say that combine has got to be done running by now too. We haven't checked on that in a minute. We've been so laser focused on getting everything done here on the chaff side of things. I'm really excited to return this wheel loader before we get to 1 hour of time. We've managed to do most of the work here in about a half an hour of engine time, so it's not as bad as it seemed to me. I felt like I'd been working on this for well over an hour. But when you look at the engine time there, I don't think the engine time lies. So we're not in too bad of a spot. Oh no. There we go, there we go. Got it. Okay. Let's try that again with more careful, less wall. Backing up slowly. There we go. My goodness, this is a touchy little area. So if you're thinking about putting a loose material in there like I did, you may want to reconsider, at least in this particular stall. I seem to be having lots of trouble. I wasn't anywhere near it. It sucked my bucket right in. That wasn't me. All right, let me see if I can rotate it down. I'm just dumping the chaff that we just managed to pick up out again by doing this, though. I wonder if I disconnect it, what would happen? Oh, that doesn't seem like a good idea. Nope, I was hoping it would pull the attachment back towards me when I did that. Not so much. Well, we're not even on the ground anymore. What the heck? Okay, once again, we have resolved our floating in the air issue, but now I need to pick up all this chaff again. It's quickly becoming not worth it. Oh, careful now. Let's get out of here. 74% is enough. I know I saw it was up at like 91% at one point. Nope, I'm good. I'm good. We may use easy dev tools or something. I think I can clean up loose material on the ground where I'm looking with easy dev tools. We'll see. We might do something like that, but for the time being, I think we're gonna call this good enough. That was a more than a fascinating glitch that we had to deal with, and now we're just looking to be done, I think. So with that, I'm gonna hop out of this. We're gonna go ahead and jump into the store. I'm gonna look at our leases. Holy leases, Batman. We're gonna return this one. And we're gonna return this one. I gotta start paying down some of these leases soon. With the lease to own mod, our stuff should be coming in pretty soon here. And oh wow, that combine is still going down here. Doesn't have a whole lot of stuff left in the way of crops to harvest, but are we just driving around down here in circles? We are, I bet. Well, that would explain a few things. Let's turn this on. Yep, it can't quite handle this, so we'll take it back over, help this guy out a smidge, see what we can do. You know what? I said we were going to have to probably handle some of these manually anyway, and we've got little bits down here. Let's just do that. There's not a whole lot left. I'm going to kill the course off altogether, and let's get to it. We are almost out of fuel on this combine again. I'm sure it didn't help that he was down here doing donuts in the end of the field, but we'll get this wrapped up and get him back up to the farm before he runs out, I think, because he's not flashing yet, and that's usually when you got to get really worried. And this gives us a good opportunity to show off that yield map in the corner. Like I said a little bit earlier in the stream, I don't think we looked at it though. We're getting a lot better yields out of this field than we did some of the other fields because of the fact that this is a field we've had for more than 1 year now. So I'm feeling pretty good about this, and between the soybeans giving us some nitrogen, and I think we'll be able to jump out here with that manure spreader and spread some manure on here to also boost the nitrogen. This field is going to be ready to be a corn silage field again. I think that this is our largest field on the farm at this point, and so we should be able to really double down on getting some silage in here again. And then I think all the other fields on the farm, we're going to run some kind of a cash crop for next year and see how that goes. Now, I say this, maybe I should pick a field that's closer to the farm for silage, but we already did silage out of this field once, and we've upgraded our equipment since then, so I think we'll be okay getting out here. And all things considered, it's a pretty big, pretty straightforward field, so it'll probably work out. I think it's better than doing corn on corn, and I am looking forward to, over the winter here, getting the fields, getting the map changed out to the latest version of UMRV. I'm still running on 1.0, which I know has a handful of issues, and I'm curious to get up to the latest version. I know some people have commented on having some different problems that I'm not seeing, so that might introduce some new bugs for us at some point here. But I'd rather be on the latest version and working through those than kind of behind on a bunch of versions and not know what people are talking about. I know DJ Modding has been following along on the series as well, so if we do run into any problems, I'd love to work with him to make sure we're getting those resolved. But I'm enjoying the map. I honestly haven't had any game-breaking issues on the 1.0 version that I'm playing on now, so I suspect that moving up to the 2.0 version isn't going to give me any problems either, or I don't even know, it's probably 2.1, or there's been a patch since the second version of the map came out here. I have no idea what the actual versioning that's being used is. I'm just talking off of the top of my head here. But we are running low on money at the moment, which is a little bit concerning. We've gotten to the negatives again. I think that was when we returned to that leased vehicle. It charged us for the remainder of the lease cost for our half hour or whatever it was that we had put onto that machine, which is understandable. And I am going to come over here. We're going to pick up these 5 stalks of beans in the corner just so it doesn't bug me. Not even 0.1 bushels. Wasn't worth the fuel, but sometimes you just gotta do what you gotta do. And we're gonna run this over here and see how much of this I can put into the back of the semi-trailer. We don't have that many bushels left, but I don't think we're gonna get 100 bushel in here. Hopefully there's enough room for me to sneak in here behind the grain cart. There we are. Man, it's gonna feel like such a shame to have like 50 bushels left. Oh, 58 bushels. Such a pain. Well, we're going to put it into the grain cart, I think, because that's going to be easier to unload up in the yard. And I'm going to go ahead and bring this semi up to the yard and get it unloaded into the bins. I'm going to put the auger in on this combine. Let me swing. Let me take this combine back up to the yard since we're already in it. It's already on. It'll be easier. Everything needs to move back up to the yard anyway. I'm either going to switch the corn head onto the combine here, and we're going to run that and get some corn to put in the corn dryer, or we're going to be done combining, one of the two. So either way, it needs to go back up to the farm. And I do enjoy that the slurry spreader seems to more or less keep up with us. I know I've probably let the combine sit idle a few times, but by the time I'm done getting this combine back up to the farm, getting all the grain emptied out, switching some things over, we're going to be in a pretty good spot to get the manure spreader moved over to the other field here and get him started on that. So this whole farm setup has been running pretty smoothly here. Everything kind of just staggered nicely. And the next big job we've got to do is mow some grass. It looks like this field to my right is already ready to be mowed, so we'll probably jump into kicking off the last of our hay work here in the next episode. I'm looking at this driveway entrance. There's no way I'm going to fit in there. How did I get this thing into the onto the road in the first place? I must have come through here. Our pickup truck's just in the way, I think. This has got to be how we got this thing in and out of the farm before. I should be able to squeeze in here, though. Oh, yeah, look at all this room. All right, we've got it all sorted out. Before I forget, I'm going to put some fuel in this thing, so let's go ahead and just get this guy moved over here. Now, I do have to put it in the zone, but if I remember right, the stairs to get up on the top is always in the back right-hand side on these combines. I don't have enough money to buy fuel, so we're going to go ahead and extend our loan one more time here. There we go, and I'm not getting a trigger. Let me do this a little bit better. I think I just messed it out. Being too realistic, I would have probably backed in alongside the tank there to toss the hose up over the panel and put it in the fuel tank, but we'll back up right over here. Oh, there we are. All fueled up, $500 worth of fuel. Not exactly good times, but it is necessary. So we'll leave this here. We'll jump up here into the field and get the semi brought back and get all of our soybeans in the bin. I'm really curious to see what our total's gonna be here. I just remembered we put beans in that grain cart as well, so not quite the last load of beans. We will have to go get the grain cart and haul it up here. I'm gonna have to back this thing out when we need to unload that grain cart. I don't think there's any way I could get the grain cart to dump into this pit. That would just be asking for trouble. So while that's going, let's get the grain cart moving. Put our pipe in just to make sure we're not causing any problems. Can't imagine trying to run down the road with the pipe out, even though the farm is right across the intersection. I think we'd end up smacking into something. I am excited though to be done with our soybean harvest. We've got just the one field over on the far side of the farm there left to finish up, and we'll have completely wrapped everything up for harvest this year. So we'll be sorting out what we should do with that cornfield and tackling this grass in the next episode, I think. The complete lack of hay on the farm right now is probably my most concerning thing. I think we might need to put another grass field in somewhere next season, because we are expecting the calves, I should say, to continue to grow up here and become productive, which is really going to start eating into our TMR feed. And since we got so close this year to running out of feed, next year is going to be even more of a struggle to keep up with everything. So we've really got to double down on that hay for next year and make sure we can keep ahead of all of these animals. Now I've got this all emptied out. I'm going to try my best to back this up out of here without getting the semi caught up on anything. And then we'll dump those beans into this back hopper. I've not done a good job of remembering where I parked this grain cart. I could have curved the combine just a little bit more down the driveway. I was thinking the tractor was in a little bit different of a position, so that's all right. Luckily, we're super flexible here. So we'll dump that, and then I think just move the tractor out of the way. If the slurry spreader comes back through here, this is definitely in the way because we've got the auto drive course that runs out that gate from the slurry tanks. So we'll toss this out in the grass here, completely out of the way. We'll get this last 40, 50 bushels, whatever it is, loaded up into the bins. And we'll be all ready to take a look at just how many we've got in here. There we are. So jumping into the time-saving stock check menu, because it's the easiest one for us to kind of take a look at things. You can see we ended up with 2009, almost 2010,000 liters of soybeans, which is gonna net us some pretty good money. $500,000 of soybeans sitting over here. That's going to be good money for sure. Can't wait. So with that, let's check in on our slurry spreader out here. We're doing good. Almost done with this. We're working on the second to last time across all of these passes. So I don't know, probably, let's look here if it has an estimate. I don't see an estimate from Courseplay, but I'd say we've probably got a good 15-20 minutes left on spread and slurry out here before we're gonna wrap everything up. So I'm feeling pretty good about that. Next episode, we'll get the combine changed over. We'll start cutting some grass and get this guy pushed over onto that other field. Hopefully you've enjoyed today's episode. That's all for today. Ketterk out.